Alrighty, folks. Welcome back to some, and to others. You're probably wondering what the heck you have gotten yourself into. Well, I guess we'll find out. Now, we have got our first 7 folks right now in the chat. Shout out to the first 7 folks in the chat. We've got our first individual in the comment section / chat room. Before we get started, let me know if y'all can hear me okay, y'all can see me okay. You know, this is our 3rd episode of this new thing that we've got going on, these live shows. And so I want to make sure that everybody can hear, can see clearly. And if you just want to drop a hello, how are ya? Arrivederci, Shishini, you want to drop anything in the comment section, feel free to do so right now. There we go. Hello, how you doing? Who we got here? We've got Uncle Sam. How you doing, Uncle Sam? Oh, this is relevant. Today is your day, Uncle Sam, because we are getting all Americana on this Friday morning, afternoon, and evening, depending on where you are. So shout out to you, Uncle Sam. Who else we got here? Hello. Adorable puppy. Who is this? Gwendolyn. Oh, Gwendolyn. Lovely name. How you doing, Gwendolyn? I can see and hear you. Fantastic. Thank you very much for that. We're going to let a couple more folks make their way in. Maybe we come up with the number, right? Let's get to 50 folks, and then we'll get this thing started just to make sure that most people don't have to run the entire thing back to understand what is actually going on. So who else we got here in the chat room? Hear you loud and clear. Good evening from Israel. God bless Israel. God bless our brothers and sisters over there. I pray that y'all are safe. I don't know what the exact situation is as of today, but I know that President DJT has finally been dropping those O2 necessary bombs on the IRGC. So freedom to Iran and prayers to the folks going through it right now. Who we got here? Susie. Hello, hello, and hello. We love it. Good morning, good afternoon, or good evening, based upon where you are in the world right now. Good morning from Maine. Good Maine. Okay, we're getting into some Maine news today. Maybe you clicked on this because you were just feeling Maine character energy. So let's see who else we got in here. Hello from LA. Okay, so I got my Los Angeles on today. I got my LA on today. I know you can't see it. It's a little hard to read, but shout out to LA. I'm a Bay Area kid, so, you know, that's our cousins down south. Salute to you, good sir. Top of the day, top of the morning, depending on where you are. 559 Texan, welcome back. We got here, how you doing? Cure for the soul. Ooh, okay, you got the cure for the soul. Hey, my faithful brother in Christ. My faithful brother in faith in Christ. I love it. Okay, so we're at 50 right now. We're at 52. We got folks coming in. Good mornings. We're going to do a couple more good mornings for y'all folks. Thank you for the love and appreciation. My sister from Dallas, down south, the dirty. I got family up and down the Fort Worth area. So shout out to my folks in Dallas. Much love. Much love. Shalom, shalom to, let's see who we have. LF 1000. I wish I knew everybody's name so I can call you out by name, but I understand confidentiality is a thing. So we got Shalom from London. Oh, my heart goes out to you. I would not wish your situation on anybody, but we continue to pray for our brothers and sisters on the other side of the pond. What we got here? Hi, Tinashe. How you doing, Connie? Nice to see you, Connie. We see you with Kung Fu Connie. We see you, Kung Fu. Good morning. Top of the morning to you. Just Mimi. Top of the morning. Who else we got in here? Irian. What is that? Irina Carr. Oh, Norway. Okay. Much love to Norway. Much love. Is this Oslo? You want Oslo, Norway? Shout out to Norway. I got a lot of love for Norway. I got some people out there. The Diddlecrat Party. We will be getting into the Diddlecrat Party indeed. Because they talk about the Epstein class of Democratic Party of today. Hey, how you doing, my good friend? So I tagged you on an X because I uploaded the GIF. Okay, perfect. I'll make sure that later today, when I'm getting into my admin stuff, that I can check that out. Thank you so much for taking the time out to create something on behalf of us all. Hi, Shalom from Australia. G'day, mate. How you doing? Much love to my Aussies down, all the way down south. What's up, good brother? How is everyone doing? Beautiful. Thank you for blessing the people, catching up with everybody. Yep, make sure to continue to tap in with one another. We want to make sure that this is an environment where everybody knows that it's all love. And sometimes we argue, we go back and forth, a debate, but it's in good spirits, and we try not to feed the trolls. Maybe every now and then the petty side of me comes out. But we got, okay, last couple ones, and then we're going to get into, we've got about 75 folks in the chat right now. Good morning from Smoky, Northern Michigan. Hello, Smoky, Northern Michigan. Good morning, top of the morning to you, Heather Brown. Thank you for sharing the lives. Blessings to you and all others, and blessings to you as well, my good friend. Panamanian, okay. Wow, I got to make my way all the way around Norway. That's a beautiful country right there. I pray that they preserve it and they don't give it over to this EU nonsense. God bless you. God bless you too. Good day, everybody from Australia. Hello, faithfuls in the chat. Okay, I see y'all are showing love to one another. So let's get into today's subject matter. Now, I tend to sort of give some, I guess, introductory piece or whatever it may be, just to give you guys context. But I feel like I have somebody who can do a better job of throwing us into today's subject matter. And so let's go ahead and bring up subject number one, shall we?
Pledge resistance to the fascists of the United States of America and to the oligarchy for which they stand, one nation under tyranny, deeply divided, with liberty and justice for none.
Speaking of fascist, it turns out that the DEMONcratic Party, who has been calling us Nazis and fascists for the last 10 years, doesn't seem to mind actual Nazis in their party. Now, I don't know if you guys have been keeping up with this entire election cycle. We are in the thick of it right now. Within the United States, there is the most important election cycle, I believe, in the last several decades. I would say this is as, if not more important than 2024. Like, we needed that in order for DJT to make his way in and to make sure that Skamala, the cackling wino, did not make her way into office and essentially expedite the process of destroying the United States. So DJT made his way in. And since then, we have been waiting on what we call the midterms, which essentially is going to decide whether or not President Trump's policies are going to be pushed to begin with, or at least the most important ones. And so we are in the thick of that. And let's just say a lot of folks have been showing their true colors. They've been revealing themselves for exactly what they are. And I think more specifically, what we need to hone into is the story of a man by the name of Graham Plattner. So without further ado, let's go ahead and get into who is this Graham Plattner?
Candidate Graham Plattner in Maine. He has since dropped out amid a swirl of controversies, from a tattoo resembling a Nazi symbol.
Questions about a chest tattoo resembling a Nazi image. Plattner says he drunkenly got on leave with other Marines in 2007.
He also recently covered up a tattoo that he got in 2007 while he was a Marine that some say resembles a Nazi symbol.
A since covered up tattoo resembling a Nazi symbol. He denied knowing what it meant.
Having a tattoo, some say, resembles a Nazi symbol.
Plattner also facing renewed questions about a since-covered tattoo on his chest, a skull and crossbones appearing to resemble a Nazi symbol.
This symbol on his chest, a tattoo that resembles a Nazi symbol.
A covered-up chest tattoo resembling a Nazi symbol.
His tattoo that resembled Nazi symbolism.
Having a tattoo that resembled a Nazi symbol.
Resembling a Nazi symbol.
Resembling a Nazi symbol.
Resembling a Nazi symbol.
Okay, I think we get the point there. So, a man with a tattoo resembling a Nazi symbol. Now, in modern day America, or more specifically, in the leftist dystopia that they have created within the last several decades and really has manifested, I would say, since really the Obamification of America, right? That's when we really start seeing these woke policies taking root and there being this non-apologetic socialist communist ethos, this anti-American ethos. We're no longer the America of yesterday, that sort of mentality, right? We are now in, I guess we would say, a post-woke America. And in that post-woke America, individuals who do not bow the knee to leftist ideology are viewed as Nazis, as fascists, as racist, sexist, homophobic, or homophobic technically, but any ist, where all the isms, the racisms, the sexism, the homophobism, the nepotism, and hypotism, and all isms were attributed to those who were not willing to give over to this sick and twisted ideology. Now, a little bit about my own personal story, or as I like to call it, coming out of the conservative closet. And it's not in the way that some of y'all may think. You know, we hear about somebody coming out and it's a whole different story. That's not what my situation was. Happily married to a woman who knows she's a woman because she's not woke. So I found myself in, well, actually, it was right around the election cycle. It was November 3rd, 2024. Up to that point, I had been a closeted conservative, at least in a public manner. Most people in my personal life not only knew what I stood on, but probably got tired of me continuing to go on about how I felt about things. But again, I had not become bold enough to really stand up and stand out and speak in this sort of way. And I saw somebody who left a beautiful message here, right here. Shout out to you, Cure for the Soul. She said, I love seeing Tinashe's transformation and how he boldly holds the line. That ain't nothing but God. God is the reason why I'm in the place that I am right now, where I'm no longer afraid to stand up against evil in any shape or form. And so back to my story. I found myself in the place where I put out a simple post on TikTok. I believe it was at first. Filmed it on TikTok, 15-second video of me leaning back, saying not a word. I had a comment, or at least a caption at the top that read, when they realized you didn't vote for Skamala, and I had a soundbite playing in the background, which was a crying liberal. That was it. As benign a sort of message as I could put out, especially compared to what I've now put out since that time moving forward. So put that video out, think nothing of it, repurpose it on my Instagram, still thinking nothing of it. And all of a sudden, couple hours will roll by and the video starts to pick up traction and people start to see it. More specifically, the folks I had on IG, which was my biggest platform at the time. I had maybe 10 to 11K folks on there, many who had been there for years. Now, mind you, at the time, I was still not, in the body. I was not in the faith. I was not a believer in Yeshua. And so I was in the new age, and the sort of messages I was putting out seemed to have attracted a lot of leftists. I wasn't speaking politically whatsoever, but the moment I came out of the conservative closet by mistake, I quickly realized that not only were these people who claimed to love me so dearly before not exactly who I thought they were, but I realized just how vindictive, just how aggressive and violent these people are. Now, mind you, this is a year before Charlie's assassination. This is, of course, after the attempted assassination of our president. But, to see the violence of the left, we hadn't had our turning point moment, for the lack of a better term. That hadn't happened yet. What we had was multitudes of incidences. See, I realized that my microphone wasn't even on. I apologize to y'all. My microphone wasn't even recording all that. That was all going through the laptop. So hopefully the sound is cleared up and this sounds a lot better than it did when we first started off. Anyway, I found myself in a situation where all of a sudden, folks who claimed to love me so dearly turned on me in an instant. Look, we got the chat right now, right? We got this chat, the comment section popping off. I had a plethora of messages pouring in, both private as well as public, of people letting me know how disappointed, how disgusted, how I simply was not black enough anymore, how I'd never been black. I was a sellout, an Uncle Tom, all types of knickknacks and Negroes. That's what I became overnight, which is ironic because on one side, I'm a Uncle Tom, which connotates that I'm black, but then I'm also getting my black card revoked. And so that, well, of course, that and the death threats, right? That obviously do it to you. So at that point, I realized, okay, I guess there is no middle of the ground. There is no debate, conversation. And the more I started to post a little more boldly, was still not fully out there. I was putting out, pretty tame messages in comparison to what I am willing to say now. And still, they were not willing to have any sort of real debate with me. Now, fast forward to today, and this very same party, the party of tolerance, acceptance, right? The party of love everybody, is the exact same party who was allowed for a literal Nazi to almost get elected if it wasn't for the greater scandal that blew up a little bit after. And we will get into that. Now, speaking of endorsing Nazis, look what some of the prestige, the upper echelon, the elites within the left think about this man even after the controversy.
Senator Warren, about something else that happened last weekend, which is you campaigned with Graham Plattner, who is ahead of that state's very pivotal Democratic primary. And I wanted to ask you about something you said. You said he's your kind of man. And I've interviewed you for a long time and watched your hearings and listened to your questions. You care about character. This is a guy that had a chest tattoo with a Nazi symbol. Okay, he apologized for it. It's a guy that reportedly wrote that people concerned about rape should take some responsibility for themselves and not get so effed up that they wind up having sex with someone they don't mean to. He praised military tactics used by Hamas, reportedly, in comments online and Reddit when they were murdering Israeli soldiers. So I'm just curious why you think he's your kind of man.
So, as you rightly point out, he has apologized. He's out meeting with the people of Maine every single day.
So after all of that, comments about, well, technically comments that this man made about it being okay to R word so long as, it's not really that if you don't feel like it's that, right? What is the real definition of R-wording an individual? That was not enough to get him off of the ballot for the DEMONcratic Party. The Nazi tattoo was obviously the first thing that came out the gate, right? Up front, the dude does not care. Matter of fact, he wears it with pride, and that was not enough. Now, mind you, the reason why this Nazi sort of idea matters in the first place is because these are the same people that have been calling us Nazis, again, for the last 10 years, right? Now, of course, it built up to Nazi. At first, it was fascist, and then it was a threat to democracy, and eventually it just became you're all Nazis, and that's all there is to it, which is ironic because Nazi stands for National Socialist. So technically speaking, the Nazis would have been more aligned with this sort of temperament than they would with those who are conservative or a little more middle of the ground, right tugging, if not full right leaning individuals. So Graham Plattner has officially been taken off the ballot. And, folks in Maine, I saw somebody who clocked in earlier. I hope you're still here. Folks in Maine, somebody has been praying. Somebody has been praying. Now, I pray to God that a worse does not come in and take this position, which we will get into, because the replacement is absolutely chef's kiss. But Graham Plattner, with his Nazi tattoo self, was kicked off the ballot because of, you guessed it, another sexual scandal. I feel like by the month we have something new, maybe even bi-monthly at this point. We got 2 drops, right? They're dropping faster than Jordans in 2002, okay? Every week, something's coming out about these people. Drop. Eric dropped. Now, Massey, I would still consider him more aligned with the leftists, even though he, portrayed himself to be all Americana, MAGA guy. Birds of a feather. I see the people who are in support. I see the people who are endorsing Massey. I don't believe you, bruh. So Massey, sexual scandal, dropped. And here we are, yet another one, and probably the worst of the three. Mind you, this is within a cycle of individuals who, one of the three I just mentioned, there were videos of this man on his bed forcing himself onto what seemed to be a lady of the night, a streetwalker. So Graham Plattner was a shoo-in for first place. He was their guy. When you get Pocahontas right here, for the folks who don't know Pocahontas, if you get Pocahontas's endorsement on the Democratic plantation platform, you are all but their guy. There's nothing else to say about it. And this is one of the most interesting phenomena, because I would have never thought in this version of the leftist mishmash of what they call the Democratic Party, I would have never guessed that they would ever again look for a seemingly straight white male to represent them. But then, of course, we have to remember that these are people willing to align with themselves with just about anybody who is anti-us. That's really all it's about at this point in time. If you are anti-God, you are anti-America, you are anti-liberties. Yeah, they're pretty much willing to get together with anybody. They get together with the jihadists, the Queers for Palestine. They get together with the literal Nazis, Graham Plattner. So long as they fulfill their one true criteria for being a genuine leftist, which is, of course, being an insane person, severely mentally ill, but also anti-America. Now, I don't know how to introduce to y'all the replacement for Graham, because, we're in the election cycle. November is essentially decision day or decision month. And they need to ramp this thing up. They need to find a replacement who can compete with somebody on our side of the aisle. And I know there's some folks out there who might be, Democrats still. I don't know how that works, to be honest, because the Democratic Party has abandoned just about everybody. But, for those who are sane, rational individuals who don't want to see the United States burn, we are pretty much blessed with having a guy out of position who is that popular with this party. And maybe this is a blessing in disguise, but with this party, you just never know where things can go. So I'm going to go ahead and do my best to introduce a peculiar character into this entire saga. There's no better way for me to do it than just to do it. You know what I mean? It's like sometimes it's just better to rip the Band-Aid off. So here we go. Here is our replacement for old Grant Gestapo Plattner, or Graham, Gestapo Plattner.
I'm David Alton, and I'm running for mayor. And I'm also non-binary. The month of June, I'm talking about the right to belong. And so I'm here right now at Grand River Pride, because there are elected officials in Cambridge who feel that people like me don't belong. They say it is disrespectful for us to talk about the fact that there are multiple elected officials who are actively undermining our rights. That there are people who in power who believe our pronouns are a mental illness and our appearances are a joke. It is a time for us to remove these divisive, negative people from politics. And I think there's something that us non-binary people can teach all of you about democracy. How many of you feel icky about politics and elections? How many of you feel like the people in power don't reflect you and your values? How many of you are tired of choosing between the same two types of politicians? A neoliberal conservative or a neoliberal liberal? Non-binary people have those frustrations too, but we also have them about gender. That's why we choose a different path. I'm running because I want to forge a new way of doing politics. I want to give you more options that represent you better. We don't.
Yes. Yes, Susie. Yeah, he is wearing a skirt. Yes. And unfortunately, that's the less terrifying part of this entire debacle we have here. You know, they're not even trying anymore. There used to be a standard, right? That you wanted to look the part. You were going to shave the beard and wear the wig. You're at least going to wear the wig. You were going to, add the tatas, right? The different lady parts. That used to be the criteria. Now they just come out like this. This is a lazy non-binary. This is a lazy transing at its best right here. So, you know, for some folks who just came in, why exactly do we have this fascinating character on our screen here right now? Because the replacement for disgraced Graham Plattner is basically that person. I guess I kind of got y'all on that. It's not technically that person, but I don't think it's any better. I think it's actually worse. Now, considering the fact that that person right there is running for whatever political office, shows you what has happened within the last 10 to 15 years of the woking of America. But what is more terrifying is that that person will be taken seriously by somebody. Again, this is a party who had no problem pushing to the forefront, almost becoming president, a cackling, word salading Kamala Harris. They had no issue with putting her into a position where she would have power over that big red button, the one that I know they still got in the Oval Office any day now. She would have power over the executive office, her and her wine cooler. This is the same party who was willing to push her to the point where people by the millions were voting for her. Now, of course, a vote for Kamala was a vote against President Trump. That's all that was, right? What was her platform? There was none. You know, the imaginary black woman who was never black until it was time to be black, right? She was Indian all along, but, you know, of course, that wasn't going to suffice because they needed that 93% of the black female vote and the 80% of the black male vote because they will feel pressured by the women that they want to, you know what, procreate with, or unfortunately not procreate with, but do the activities that lead to such, you know, that sort of thing. So, yeah, we now have a Graham Plattner, a white straight male who in any other situation would be ex-nayed from the Democratic plantation platform, now being hailed as the savior until a sexual scandal broke his entire campaign. The Nazi tattoo did not do it. Imagine that. The Democrats are so far gone, the DEMONcrats are so far gone that they are willing to elect an actual Nazi so long as he does not align with conservative or pro-American values. This is the lowest hanging fruit at this point in time. So I'm actually going to bring up the real new running mate within Maine. This individual here, like, okay, in any other world, in non-clown world, non-bizarro world, the individual I'm about to bring up right now is not winning a raffle at your local fair. Okay. They're not winning a beauty contest as the only contestant. There's nothing they're winning in normalcy. But we live in a world where Zoran Mamdani, a openly communist jihadist, is now the mayor of the most powerful, at least influential city on the planet. That's where we live because of the Democratic Party. So you're probably wondering, who is this individual? How bad could it really be? Well, I can show you better than I can tell you.
Ashley Webb, I'm from Farmington, Maine. The biggest thing I'd like to get across is that we need unity. Whoever wins this nomination, we need to show up at the polls, we need to vote for them, and we need to make sure they win no matter what, because what's going on in this country is not right. With the immigration and immigrants being targeted, they're being rounded up like animals. It's not acceptable to allow this to go on in our streets. And then with the trans community, like, we're being dehumanized. They say that we want to hurt people. I don't want to hurt anybody. I just want to use the bathroom. And if they want me to use the men's room, I will, but I don't want to be assaulted. And as far as like this, what happened in Biddeford, it's unacceptable. We knew since January that what ICE has been doing with Alex and Renee.
What is this nonsense? What is this nonsense?
Qualifications do you have to serve in the U.S. Senate? So Webb, what qualifications do you have to serve in the U.S. Senate?
I ran for office several times. Didn't win, but I did run. And then I'm a songwriter, and then I write my own books. And then I suppose my transparency, I wouldn't lie to the people, and I wouldn't deceive the people like we're being deceived right now. Like,
well, I mean, to be fair, sir, ma'am, sir, your honesty would be the last thing that your specific party would endorse. So if that is true, it's probably a disqualifier. Now, everything else you got going on is a qualifier for today's Democratic Party. Yep, that's right. This should be everybody's reaction. Ha ha. Oh, tee hee. Ha ha. Hoo hoo. That's how I read those emojis right there. Ta ha. Wait, I say tee hee. Ha ha. Hoo hoo. This is laughable. Folks, how is this real? What up, Rosie? I see you. How is this real? How is this real? Hey, let's not insult the rocks, okay? Let's be fair. Let's be fair here. Susie, let's not be insulting to the rocks. That's not an IQ. That's something beneath an IQ. We're gonna run that back one more time, because I don't think we really internalized the level of flabbergastery.
Mash Blue Web, I'm from Farmington, Maine. The biggest thing I'd like to get across is that we need unity. Whoever wins this nomination, we need to show up at the polls, we need to vote for them, and we need to make sure they win no matter what, because what's going on in this country is not right. With the immigration and immigrants being targeted, they're being rounded up like animals. It's not acceptable to allow this to go on in our streets. And then with the trans community, like, we're being dehumanized. They say that we want to hurt people. I don't want to hurt anybody. I just want to use the bathroom. And
see, you may not want to hurt anybody, but this is hurting somebody. It just has that effect. You understand? It's hurting somebody. It's hurting eyes, ears, brain follicles, internal molecules. It's diabolicals. You understand me? What is this? This is the perfect, wrapped in a bow and tie representation of today's Democrat. See, sis, she said, what you say? You said Senator Kennedy will he will look. If anybody is gonna scorch earth, what is this? Ashley Webb could at least dress See, you're on to something, right? I mean, to be fair, in comparison to
I pledge resistance.
Oh, buddy boy over here. Buddy boy, he hated shirts. He despised wearing all his clothes. So I can understand that. You know what? Thank you for that positivity. We need more of that positivity. At least Ashley,
if they want me to,
was willing to put on grandmama's dress. We can be thankful for something today. Lord knows we can be thankful. Thank you for at least trying to look the part, because this one right here,
Stuck with the same.
bro, kept the shirt on, put a skirt on, did not shave, no wig. Oh, some of y'all didn't see this one, huh? Some of you guys just came in. You might have to do a little rewind on that situation, because no, it's absolutely insane what we are having to endure at this point in time. I apologize ahead of time, and I guess maybe it's too late for some of y'all already been here, because you have to be subject to such things. I apologize. But once again, these people are being given a platform by the second largest political party in these United States. Think about it. If we don't have, and I'm not shy about it, if we don't have a Marco Rubio in office as our commander in chief, it will likely be one of these. Now, it might not be that right there, right? But that's going to be in office, because technically speaking, that's already in office. We already got folks who are supposed to be in a psychiatric ward. These people need help. Okay. These are human beings, and we need to love our brothers and sisters. Absolutely. But sometimes our brothers and sisters are mental. They need help. They are off of their rockers, bonkers, gone. Sometimes it's necessary to tell your brother you need medication. Sometimes it's the only way. You need meds. Most importantly, you need Jesus, right? Jesus is the ultimate medication for things that cannot be fixed in the flesh. There is something going on spiritually with this party, and that is really at the root of it. But dang it, as long as we've got medications here on this earth, somebody needs them. Somebody's got to use them. It's got to be somebody like this, because ain't no way. Ain't no way. Look at did y'all hear this answer?
So Webb, what qualifications do you have to serve in the U.S. Senate?
oh, I ran for office several times. Didn't win, but I did run. And then I'm a songwriter, and then I write my own books.
What does this have? The man asked, what are your qualifications to be in office? Which is a valid question, by the way. I think every politician needs to be asked that. What are your qualifications? I mean, what job have you gotten where you didn't have to talk about what qualified you for this specific job? Well, I've done this, I've done that, I've done that, I've done this. Now, some of y'all be capping a little bit, but Jesus forgives, but that doesn't mean you need to keep on lying to them folks at them jobs. Just saying. I did this, I did that, I did this. Or if you don't have an answer, you say, look, I have no experience. Can I maybe get an internship? I have no experience, but I feel like I'll be great for this job if you just give me a chance. See, that's an honest answer. But this is just ultimate confusion. What is this?
What qualifications do you have to serve in the U.S. Senate?
Oh, I ran for office several times. Didn't win, but I did run. And then I'm a songwriter, and then I write my own books. And then I suppose my transparency, I wouldn't lie to the people, and I wouldn't deceive the people like we're being deceived right now.
Brother, you are deceived. You are in deception. You are a boy, Damon. You're a boy. You're a man. It's okay. And we're going to get into that, because there are real life consequences to these things, as ridiculous and sometimes comical as they are. You are a boy, a man, sir. That is confusion by itself. These are not people who need to be in office. They need to be in psychiatric wards. I'm not saying throw them into any place that would violate their human rights. I'm talking about get them help. Get them help. These people are dangerous. And there was a comment made by Sir Ashley Webb. That man said, I don't want to hurt anybody, because obviously it is, now become news. Shouldn't be a surprise to any of us that there is a violence problem within the quote unquote trans community. We should not be surprised by that in big 2026. There is a violence issue in the trans community, and I believe it has a lot to do with, already predisposed mental illness or mental illness that's already existing right before this quote unquote transitioning. But then you also have a society that is affirming as opposed to diagnosing. And then on top of that, you have these medications that they're putting these kids on. Age of 10, 11, 12 years old, they're putting these kids on these hormone blockers. They're already in a place where their estrogen, testosterone, progesterone are all in a combination, a mixture, don't know which way's up, down, left, right, confused mentally, emotionally. And then on top of that, you're about to add these medications that are going to completely flip and reverse the natural cycle and course of what they're supposed to go through. What do you think is going to be the ramifications of such? And yes, maybe this individual here chose to pick up the dress and, shave the beard this morning. Maybe it just happened. But these people at a grown age like Ashley Webb here are obviously mentally ill. Folks, am I okay? Hold up. We're going to do a quick little poll, okay? We got to do we miss Avi. Avi will be back. Shout out to my producer, Avi. She will be back on Monday. And, she makes all of our lives so much easier over here. But let's see. Is Ashley Webb mentally ill? It's going to be a simple yes or no. Now, when I put this up on y'all screen, just go ahead and comment yes or no. Simple question. Simple question. Is quote unquote Ashley Webb, is this showing up on y'all side? Hold up. Nope. We got to stop that poll and we got to show this one. Booyah. Right there, folks. All right, start in now. If you see, we already got folks. Is this a mentally ill person here? I'm going to play it over again. I'm going to play it over. Does this seem like somebody's right in the head?
What qualifications do you have to serve in the U.S. Senate?
Oh, I ran for office several times. Didn't win, but I did run. And then I'm a songwriter, and then I write my own books. And then I suppose my transparency, I wouldn't lie to the people, and I wouldn't deceive the people like we're being deceived right now.
Okay, so somebody said no, right? I'm so interested. As of next week, we're going to start bringing in folks if you want to call in, et cetera. We obviously got to vet the calls and make sure, we're not getting Ashley Webb's tuning into the show trying to, if they want to debate, if they want a fair, good faith argument, we can do that all day with anybody. But I need to know why one individual here said no, because I see yeses everywhere. Yeah, thank you. Thank you. Sis said, who said no? Here we go right here. Somebody said no. I don't know if it's a language barrier. My Israeli or Hebrew brother or sister. I don't know if that's the thing, but we're doing yes and yes and no is no. Let's see. No. We are not psychiatrists. So I have to have a psychiatry degree now to diagnose whether or not somebody is mentally ill. You know what? God bless you. More power to you. The one no answer. There's one no answer. Exactly. One person said no. I'll tell you how many on my side came through and answered on this specific poll. Look at this. We still have folks going in right now. 13-1. I'm not telling you have to. I'm giving you my straight up opinion. I am autistic. It doesn't go that way. So, okay, then personality disorder, we can call it that, right? Because there is a correlation, and this is somebody who is, an expert within this field, knows far more than I ever will, that according to them, unfortunately, this system that looks to trans these kids oftentimes takes advantage of those who are on the spectrum, those who are autistic. So I can see what you're saying there. Personality disorder. Mental illness. I think they used to call it what? Body dysphoria? Not dysmorphia, is it? Dysphoria. Somebody let me know in the chat. Dysmorphia or dysphoria? I always get those two confused. That's what it used to be quantified and classified as. These used to be people who needed to be medicated at the very most They needed to be, looked after, taken care of. Folks needed to watch over them. And at the very best, you could go through some sort of, talk therapy, and they could work these issues out. Maybe there were traumas within an individual's life or whatever it may be. Thank you very much to, who's this? Thank you very much, Booty said gender dysphoria. It is gender dysphoria. Okay. Dysphoria. So this is a person who nobody said, hey, I think you need a psychiatric evaluation before you run for office. Now, we live in a free country, and the beauty of freedom is that anybody can almost do anything. As long as you're not violating somebody else's rights, which we're going to get into because this starts to step into that category. And I got a video that I'm about to bring up that shows you how this has real life ramifications. But, since we don't have real checks and balances to get into the race, about anybody can run, which has been great on the sides of, the Spencer Pratts and the Donald Trumps. But when you got somebody like this who obviously needs psychological help, or you got somebody who is so diabolical, devious, a schemer like a Gavin Newscam or a Zoran Koran Mamdani, when you got individuals like that, that's when I wish that it was God's monarchy already. I wish it was the kingdom come. I'll be real with y'all. And somebody put it in the comments, groomer and child abuse. Yes, there is an epidemic within that specific community of exactly that's going on. I can't say, unfortunately, those two words out loud in the way I want to, but it's in the comment section for anybody who wants to see it. There's an epidemic of that going on within these communities. It's heartbreaking. It's comical and it's heartbreaking at the same time. You got to laugh so you don't cry. So speaking of the consequences of allowing this sort of lunacy to get out of hand and really get out of pocket, I want to bring this video up, and it breaks my heart, but it doesn't break my heart anywhere near the one we're about to get into after. I don't know about y'all, but I got time today. My folks in PST, it is 8:50. What is it? Almost 8:50. And for some of y'all, maybe it's bedtime in Australia. I'm not quite sure what the time is there exactly, but I don't know about y'all, but I got time today. Let's get into it.
My name is Wesley Ford. I'm from Louisiana. I got fired from Chili's in Denham Springs on Saturday, July 11th for not calling my coworker.
And yes, I do want to get into this aspect, right? It's not just being a trans. His answers are bizarre and unfitting. We're going to get so the reason I brought the mental illness aspect is because it feeds into everything else, right? It is at the core. If somebody is already mentally unstable, then you're not expecting that person to make any rational sense. You're not going to expect that person to see reality in its true form, right? So, thank you for bringing that up. Shout out Rochester. But, I'm not just trying to pick on just this one specific thing, but this is an indicator of a deeper and greater, more profound problem. And I believe that it's like a canary in the coal mine for what has been set up by the devil through the Democratic Party. And yes, it's beyond politics. It's really a spiritual issue, but, we're dealing in things of politics right now. So let's go ahead and hear this young man's story. I'm going to start this over and let it play out.
Hey, y'all. My name is Wesley Ford. I'm from Louisiana. I got fired from Chili's in Denham Springs on Saturday, July 11th for not calling my coworker by her chosen name and choosing to use her government name instead. And they ended up terminating immediately for that. I posted the video of my termination on social media on Saturday, and on Monday, libs of TikTok picked it up and shared it across their platforms. And the moment that happened, everything changed. I got just, I don't even have a word to explain it. The amount of messages and support I got like that, it just started pouring in all of a sudden. It let me know that as a society, people are just tired of this. I'm a normal guy from small town USA, and I'm nothing special. And all I did was go to work and choose my freedom and my rights. And it has sparked so much. And
now, I got to interject for a second. This man is speaking as if he ignited the Revolutionary War because he called somebody what they actually are. This is how far gone we currently are. I don't know if sometimes we just stop to reflect on how insane things have gotten within this version of reality. But the fact, okay, let me scratch that and go to personal anecdotal experience. Okay. There was a time in my personal life when I believed that if somebody had, let's say, entertained the idea of switching a gender, let's say somebody who is a boy told me they're a girl, there was a time when I would believe that either they're joking and they're messing with me, or they're messing with me and they're joking, in that order. Now, obviously, again, mental illness could have played into it, but at that point in time in my life, before 2019, 2016, when this really started to surge, before then, if one of my homeboys came to me and said, hey, I'm actually a woman, and also there's really no such thing as gender, so technically speaking, I'm a woman, but there is no woman because a woman can't be defined, because that would mean that there is gender norms. So if somebody came to me with that level of foolishness, I'm not a violent man, but I might have put hands on them. If that was somebody I loved, I might have to give him a couple of these. Some abuelita, I would have abuelita'd somebody in that moment. Little tap in the back of the head. Get it together. Stop playing around. But now we're at a place where this has become a fixed position in reality, where not only do you have to accept it, but a man who simply called a man or a woman was fired from their job. And after sharing their experience, it has now sparked a revolution. Hear his words.
Was go to work and choose my freedom and my rights. And it has sparked so much. And it just lets me know that Americans are sick of this. And this is not a Republican or Democrat thing. I mean, I've been getting messages from all across the political spectrum of far left Democrats to ultra right Republicans to people all over in the middle. And they all are in agreement with this. People are just tired of this being forced upon them. And that's what it boils down to. I'm a individual liberty kind of person, and I believe that everybody should be able to do what they want, but you don't get to force me to participate in it. And that's just, it's just as simple as that. This has flipped my whole life upside down. I'm out here on my dad's farm, just kind of helping out around here, decompressing a little bit out in the country. But yeah, it's I am so grateful for Libs of TikTok for sharing my post and bringing attention to this, because it's very obvious that attention needed to be brought to this. And I hope these companies, I hope they see what's going on, and I hope that they wake up and see that we're not rolling over and taking this anymore. So thank y'all for everything, and I'm so grateful for all of the support.
God bless this brother right here. I'm gonna make sure to dig into the recesses of the internet and see if he's got some type of GoFundMe or something like that. Even just a couple of dollars to help somebody. I've been in a situation myself when I said, man, I'm taking a hit financially for telling the truth, and by the grace of God, he took care of things. But I would have definitely appreciate that help. So, we got to help people like this, because look, as wild as it is, he was also taking a stand in that moment, even though he was doing just a regular thing, right? It's kind of like you drinking water. Hopefully y'all are drinking water, by the way. That's what's in my cup, just in case you're wondering. This is not liquor or juice. Some folks think that I'm on one. No. No liquor in this temple. That's water. It's like drinking water, and People either are fighting you for drinking water or are praising you for being a champion of water. That's what the truth has become in this day and age. The truth has become, which the truth is a fundamental thing. It is reality as reality is, as opposed to what we make it to be. This machination that we create in our own psyches, in our own vain imaginings, right? Reality, male, female, one of the most fundamental principles, period. This man now has to reconfigure his life because of a simple reality. Jordan Peterson, who we must continue to pray for, his salvation more than anything else, his health, of course, was fired from his job, had his entire life, well, not his life stripped from him necessarily, but his livelihood, the thing that he had built everything around and for, the thing that he loved the most was taken from him the moment he uttered these words. There is such thing as male and female. Gender exists. That's what set Jordan Peterson off on a trajectory where at first it seemed like all hell broke loose in his personal experience, truth be told. To now, and unfortunately in his current predicament, he is ailing in his health. But after that was this meteoric rise as a champion of Western civilization, of truth. This man said, woman is woman, man is man. Your 2-year-old gets that. That is insane. That's how far we've gotten. So we can never normalize that, because that was the problem with me. Sometimes, it's like things just get so regurgitated. They get so normalized. They're in the zeitgeist. And that is the leftist tactic. This is pure Marxism. I got the book right here. Done read it and wrote notes in it. The Marxist ideology is steeped in creating a new version of reality. First, they uproot the existing traditional conservative values, right? Those who are looking to conserve the things that have allowed for the success of a nation, like in the United States. That's what true conservatism is at its core. We want to conserve the things that make America an incredible country. Somebody here, you asked for what is the email? Tinashe at tinashepeter.com. tinashepeter.com, in case you need to reach me with something important. You got some sort of real insight. You have something that you want me to maybe share and I can get to at some point, or I'm in the process of hiring. But I'm going to get back to the messages in a second. I really got to address this point right now. Marxism, i.e. communism, i.e. socialism, i.e. democratic socialism, that ain't nothing but the pig with a little bit of lipstick and a church hat on. That's the only difference between democratic socialism and full-on communism. The man known as Joseph Stalin, who was the first, well, actually, technically it was Lenin and then Joseph Stalin, the two men responsible for institutionalizing Marxism as an ideology into politics. Those two individuals there called themselves socialists before they were communists. Communism is the ultimate, it's the end goal. A communist intention is to uproot whatever the core ideology is and to replace it with anarchy, chaos, and destruction. That's why I say it is the devil's ideology, because the devil came to do what? To kill, to steal, and destroy. What does communism do? It comes to steal. It steals life. It steals property. It steals freedoms. To kill, it takes lives. More than 140 million people killed by some sort of communist regime in the last 80 to 90 years. And to destroy, it destroys economies, it destroys families, it destroys entire civilizations like this. Ask your brothers and sisters in South America who came out of Soviet Russia, who are anywhere throughout the African countries where they have taken on this demonic ideology. Ask them what their reality has been under socialism, i.e. communism. That's what these people have to serve up. And there is nothing but confusion in this. It is an ideology of confusion because it looks to confuse. Our God is not a God of confusion. That's what my Bible tells me. Our God is not the God of confusion. So confusion can only come from one place. Our God is not a liar. So the lies can only come from one place. When we got Mom Donnie up there selling wolf cookies, I don't know if you guys heard this, but the man just boosted up his own allowance. The man's paycheck went up by 20 to 30% in the last year. How convenient, Mr. All About the Working Class. How convenient. So, shout out to this man right here. I wish we who speak like this didn't have to be heroes and brave and courageous. I wish we did. I wish this was just regular talk like it was back in 2010, 2012, 2013. Around 2014, 15, I started really seeing it, especially for my peers who are going out to university and coming back, and I had lost their raggedy minds. But I wish that this was simply normal, that a guy who called another guy a guy would not be fired from his job and this become an act of revolution. Imagine a world like that. We used to have a world like that, in fact. But it was given over to the commies. So, I think this is probably a good time to get into a couple words from our current president as well as future president. Now, I'm going to do a little bit of a dovetail, but it's still really within the same confines of the conversation. Something crazy has been happening to me in the last couple of weeks, maybe even the last month and a half, maybe. I've been getting emails from an organization. Where is this? I'm getting emails from this organization here. Protect Democracy. Now, I thought this was some sort of conservative or Republican centered political movement. Never heard of it before. But it turns out that somebody put me on their email list. Maybe this is God at work, because this is an entire outline of the strategy they're using to indoctrinate their own coalition. So yesterday, President Trump gives an address, and let me know in the comments if you guys want me to go through the whole video at the end. It's like 20, 24 minutes. I believe it's worth the listen, worth the watch, especially if you're somebody who really wants to know what's actually going on, as opposed to, TikToking your life or your way through information throughout your life. But President Trump is giving an address, and he is essentially delving into the fraud that's happening with our elections. Right. So there is real life evidence, obviously, from the 2020 election that was stolen from President DJT, and instead they gave it to Joe Carcass, aka Joe Otto Penn Biden. Now, as a precautionary measure, this organization, who sent me thinking I'm an influencer who's basically bought by anybody who's paying, has sent me a breakdown of how they want you to think. Look, I will eventually show y'all the actual. Matter of fact, I might be able to do it right now, because some folks are going to say, oh no, you're making this up. You're going to say, you're making this up. Look, see, the woman just messaged me again here. She invited me. I hope my personal information is not leaked here. So if it does get leaked, then Lord have mercy. I hope nobody swipes my accounts, but I'm going to bring this up right now in real time because I got time today. I really asked myself, T, do you have time today? And I realized that I got time today. Look at this. This email came in. Just in. Look at this. This is the individual here. Defend America. They want me to RSVP. You can't make this stuff. Oh, I'm sorry. I'm not even showing my screen. Hold up. Where is this at? Look at this. Look at this. Full screen. They just sent me an email not too long ago trying to get me involved in whatever they got going on. In 1 hour, RSVP. Take questionnaire, Trump speech. But look, this is the thing. I don't make fun of them for this. I say, see, this is why they continue to have the level of power. This is why they continue to move and shake things, is because they organize. The lefties know how to organize. Now, I'm about to read this out for y'all because I got time today. Right here. I'm going to bring it back up on my screen so we can read this together. My goodness. So, breaking news from 6 years ago, getting ahead of Thursday's 9 p.m. election speech. Protect Democracy is here for sourcing, not framing. Use what works, ignore the rest, and you never need to credit us. If this ain't George Soros paperwork, folks, if this ain't George Soros, look at this. What this is. Thursday at 9 p.m. EST, the president is expected to give a primetime address claiming newly declassified intelligence showing foreign interference in the 2020 election, reportedly staging, reportedly staged with the CIA director. Shout out to Cash Money Patel. The acting intelligence director, the FBI director, and the Homeland Security secretary behind him. Even the White House says nobody knows what he's ultimately going to say. Reporting suggests anything from selective intel or foreign schemes to voting machine conspiracy theories to an illegal emergency declaration. Now, this goes on to highlight specific ways in which, let me put this on our screen here. Let me put this on our screen. George Soros for sure. And some folks think, oh, that's just become conspiracy. No, George Soros openly put $100 million into about 50 new organizations not too long ago. The same man was trying to buy every single radio station in America that is for sale, which is many of them because they're going out of business. The man doesn't care if he wastes a lot of money. This is what my business partner told me this. He said, George Soros doesn't care if the specific piece of content hits. He will pay for 1,000 of them to be created, and all he cares is that one hits, one message goes forward. They don't care if this one works. They care if one of them works. Let me continue to read this because I feel it's got to be God. Ain't no way they put me on that list. Do they see black skin and see political commentator and then just go ahead and that's got to be it, because it doesn't make sense otherwise. This reads on. Good news. We don't need to know. This brief gives you the one idea that helps your audience understand what's happening before it airs and before it airs and after. Top line. This speech is not about 2020. It's about November. Nobody relegated a 6-year-old election for fun. Casting the last election as stolen creates doubt and lays the groundwork for rejecting the next one. Before a single vote is cast, and they're taking steps to overturn results they don't like because their movement and administration are massively unpopular and cannot win a popular vote. Look at the way they're framing that. Now, that's nothing but a lie from the pit of hell right there. Within MAGA, President Trump is still being supported overwhelmingly. I wasn't a big fan of, including the whole JD situation and the MOU. Not a big fan of that. But you know what? We live and we learn. Sometimes we crash and we burn. Let me continue. This says, we predicted this in writing in March. Protect Democracy published a report forecasting the administration will turn intelligence channels into disinformation and doubt machine. When you can predict a revelation 4 months out, it's not news, it's a pre-written script. So they're doing what they're telling us that is being done to us through President Trump and his administration. Somebody said maybe China. You're right. Okay. You know what? I don't know if I can air this one. The woman's name is Julia Ezell Thomas. I'm not trying to dox or air her out. That is not the purpose and intention, but that's the woman who's been sending these emails. I don't know why she's sending them. I don't understand. This is the first time I actually opened one and really read through it, and I say, wait a minute. This is liberal indoctrination 101. So, by the grace of God, I got on that list. Maybe there's somebody in the organization who's trying to air them out, and so they're getting my stuff forwarded. I don't know. But let's continue here. Is this the second page? Okay. Timing. Before beats after. Before 9 p.m., you're calling the shots. Content that names the playbook first. They're using some words in here. Inoculates. These leftists love to use that jargon. It makes them feel important. The playbook first inoculates. Your audience watches the speech already knowing what it's for. So they're telling them, prime your audience, let them know what's coming for them already. So she said RSV. Care Bear, you said RSV. I need the RSVP for this. You know what? I'm gonna do it. I'm gonna see if I can record my screen. You're absolutely right. Let me make sure I don't miss this because I got time today. But my time is for y'all first and foremost. What is this? 11:15 EST. I pray to God I'm not missing this right now. I hope this is still going on. I'm gonna finish with y'all, but y'all see, this is why we need y'all, because I wouldn't have even thought to go. I'm thinking this is so ridiculous. Y'all saying do it, do it, do it. I might hop back on live stream if I do it and do a screen share. I'm not even playing right now. I might do that. Wow. I might have to do that. Okay. Let's continue. This says now after 9 p.m. So after the speech, you're showing the receipts. Nothing is lost. The play doesn't change when it airs. They called it, and here's the tape. The tone, deflate, don't alarm. Are you kidding me? I mean, they're good. No, they're really good at what they do. I will never take away from that. There's a reason why it works. Watch this. The tone right here, section 2. Deflate, don't alarm. This is the rare story where ridicule is the responsible register. The move is weak, so treat it as weak. A strong leader wins and moves on. 6 years and more than 60 court losses later, this president is still shopping for someone to tell him he won. Fear is what the play is designed to produce. Mockery starves it. Make it make sense. Energy is exactly right. So they're trying to use a tactic of basically belittling, mocking, in order to deflate the seriousness and the severity of what has been happening. Obviously, we just saw that in Los Angeles. Shout out to LA, got the merch on right now. As far as Spencer Pratt, there is no way Spencer Pratt was not at least number 2 on that ballot. That was election fraud in real time. California, sophisticated hub of the world. I grew up in the Bay Area, the tech hub of the universe, couldn't put together a system that could count those votes overnight, yet they can do so in the middle of Chile and Venezuela. Make it make sense. Oh, we need 2 more weeks to figure this thing out. So do I believe that there's voter fraud? This has been proven time and time again, but yet they're trying to create a narrative here. This is the rule book. My goodness. Man, Soros, your money is spreading far and wide, buddy. Let me see if I click on this right now. I'm crazy like this. I just clicked on, you cannot register for this webinar. This webinar has ended. Thank you for your, oh no, look at this. Oh my goodness. Oh my goodness. I missed it. Okay, if they send another one, I'm about to get into it. Look at this. I got to show y'all this page. Let me remove this and let me go ahead and stop sharing that screen. I got to share another screen with y'all. Man, I'd have missed it. I missed it. Look at that. Look at this right here. Man, I'm going to the next one. Y'all got me now. Yeah, there's no way I can't do this. This is actually wild. You cannot register for this webinar. What are the odds that this is today's subject and all this is going down? Thank you, Lord. Okay, so if they send any invite about anything, I am going to, if I can't live stream it, which I probably will look to, if they do it around this time, it's going to be live stream, or if they do it anytime that I'm awake, I'm going to live stream it. I'm going to do it. But let's continue to see what they have in here. What do they want you to believe? And I'm doing this for a reason, right? Because we're going to bring up at least a portion of our president's speech, and then we're going to get into some words from our future president, if all goes as it's supposed to go, at least, if folks got enough sense to do the right thing. So next we have 4 rules. Rule number 1, don't repeat the lies. Repetition breeds belief even in a debunk. Name the play, not the claims. You never need to restate the allegations to explain what they're for. Y'all know insert sound. What? This is real psychological warfare they're playing here. Wow. Number 2, don't fight feelings with facts. Don't fight feelings with facts. This is our problem sometimes. Shout out to Ben Shapiro, by the way. Facts, not feelings. They know that most human beings are ruled not by logic, but by emotion. And that all of us at some point in time could simply be emotionalized. So don't fight feelings with facts. No 10-point debunk listicles. I think that's that's got to be something they made up. I know that's not in my dictionary. No 10-point debunk listicles. If we're explaining, we're losing. One good receipt beats 10. Show the trick, don't litigate it. I believe that to be true. We need to use more of that. Now, let me do a little bit of that. Let me go ahead and put this into practice, right? Show them receipts. I'm going to show y'all receipts right now. I'm going to show y'all receipts right now.
Senator Warren, about something else that happened last weekend, which is you campaigned with Graham Plattner, who is ahead of that state's very pivotal Democratic primary. And I wanted to ask you about something you said. You said he's your kind of man. And I've interviewed you for a long time and watched your hearings and listened to your questions. You care about character. This is a guy that had a chest tattoo with a Nazi symbol. Okay, he apologized for it. It's a guy that reportedly wrote that people concerned about rape should take some responsibility for themselves and not get so effed up that they wind up having sex with someone they don't mean to. He praised military tactics used by Hamas, a court reported.
Listen to this answer, right? This is somebody on one of their own networks basically giving her a lob to say, you can go ahead and clear the slate. You can distance yourself from this Graham Plattner character right here, right now. Look at Pocahontas. Hey,
in comments online and Reddit when they were murdering Israeli soldiers. So I'm just curious why you think he's your kind of man.
So, as you rightly point out, he has apologized. He's out meeting with the people of Maine every single day.
That's crazy. This is the guy she's simping for right now. This is the guy she's simping for. What does he have on the party?
Resembled a Nazi symbol that he had covered up right before he ran, by the way.
Sorry, I need to run that
Senate
back.
candidate Graham Plattner in Maine. He has since dropped out amid a swirl of controversies from a tattoo resembling a Nazi symbol.
Questions about a chest tattoo resembling a Nazi image. Plattner says he drunkenly got on leave with other Marines in 2007.
He also recently covered up a tattoo that he got in 2007 while he was a Marine that some say resembles a Nazi symbol.
A since covered up tattoo resembling a Nazi symbol. He denied knowing what it meant.
Having a tattoo, some say, resembles a Nazi symbol.
You're right, Danita. He's out. They got him out. You know who they replaced him with, right? He is out. You're absolutely right. They had to get him up out of there, but they replaced him with him.
I will. I don't want to be assaulted. And as far as like this, what happened in Biddeford, it's unacceptable. We knew since January that what ICE has been doing with Alex and Renee.
That's crazy. But what's crazier is what we just came up on right here. I printed this today, hot off the press. This came in this morning, folks. This. And then they invited me to an event, which unfortunately I missed, but next time I'll be live streaming it. So please pray that the lady does not find me. He said, oh my, yes, indeed. Oh my, indeed. So look, number 3, we're number 3, right? The threat never travels without the refusal. Okay, this is different. Threat only content says it's rigged. Why bother? The outcome the play wants. What kind of language is this? Every clip ends on what's holding and what viewers can do. Every clip ends on what's holding. So, they're saying a call to action. This is why the left, I'm telling y'all, it's why the left is putting up numbers on the board. They organize, even if there's just 10 of their insane selves. This has been the strategy for communists. They will have 15 communists go into an organization of 10,000 and they will run the organization by mid-May. Why? Because they organize. They're intentional about their demonic activities. Number 4 on this 4 rules. This is about elections, not a party. The argument works because it's true for everyone. No president of any party gets to run our elections. My goodness, my goodness. Let's see. We skim through a couple of these. The tell strongest before. Okay. I might have to publish this as a public document. I mean, they'll know exactly who leaked it, but wow. We've got two more pages of this. If you just hopped on right now, I suggest you go back because we came up on something wild today. Somebody mistake me for a leftist influencer, leftist political influencer, added me to I guess some sort of a group email CC situation, even though there's only what is it? Oh, it's a BCC. I got BCC'd in this email. Foolishness. But the devil slips up because he is not God. The devil slips up. So yeah, I suggest y'all go through and understand these tactics. Now, I want to make a little bit of time for our 2 honorary guests. The 2 guests that make the most sense today. The only ones that are going to make any real sense, to be honest, except for the folks in the chat right now, is President DJT, and after that, our future president, if all goes as it's supposed to go, Marco Rubio.
Move NBC and ABC.
Let's get this going.
In a rare move, NBC and ABC fake news have both said that they would not cover this speech. They knew what it was about because of the fact that they don't like the topic, because they know how corrupt our system is and they don't want to reveal it. They and others in the media are part of a plot. They want to continue this fraud for whatever reason. They want to keep it going. They want to protect the radical left. They can't have a great country, and that's true. You can't have a great country without free and fair elections. Fraud like this should mean a revocation of their licenses. They use our public multi-billion-dollar in value airways for absolutely no money. They pay nothing. All we want is honesty in our elections and honesty in reporting. They pay nothing for multi-billion-dollar assets.
So that's just a highlight from yesterday's address that the president gave, where he basically broke down what's really going on within our election process, and more specifically what happened in 2020. This is like the actual propaganda is that there's a conspiracy to delegitimize that election. Yet none of us, at least I haven't met anybody yet. Maybe somebody can let me know in the comments or the chat right now. Has somebody come across the missing 13 to 15 million voters that old man Joe got? I'm looking right now in the chat. I'm looking directly into the chat. Has anybody come across the 13 to 15 million votes that went towards old man Joe Carcass Biden, aka Autopen? Have you seen them? I'm gonna have to do this real quick. I'm gonna have to do this because I need y'all right now in this moment for a time like this. I need this right now because maybe I'm becoming the propagandist because I'm not gonna let the people chime in. So y'all got to chime in here. Here we go. We're going to get a simple yes and no poll going here. Once we get Avi back, shout out to my dope producer. Once we get her back, we're on and popping. But for right now, I got to do this. So bear with me. Now, let's see. Where's a new one right here? Let me know right here. We got a Polsky Olsky. Hopefully there's no typos. If there is, then, you're going to have to live with it. Did Joe Biden actually win in 2020? Let me know. Let me know right there, please. Yes or no? Yes or no? Because I'm still looking for 15 million votes. I'm looking for them personally. Under the hood, under the cover, under the sheets. Tell me, have you seen her? Right now, let's take a good moment. Let's take a quick moment. Pour in with your answers. We have a got a no and a no and a nopers. I see you, Ronald. Ronald got a nopers. Ronald's got a noper. Ronald's got a noper. Okay, Ronald. Ronald's got a noper. We've got no. No. Capital no. Hell nah, bro. No, no, no. I cannot vote. Oh, sorry, brother. If you could, I'm sure you make the right decision. What we got here? Nope. No. Chuckle. Y'all, we got a, what's that? We got a, oh, who we got in the comments? We got an op in the comments? They gonna feel the vibes, man. They're gonna feel the vibes, man. We gotta cleanse that up out of here. Nada. Let's bring that back. Let's bring that back for a second. We gotta get it. Look at that. Still all no's. All no's. Look at this. 15 no's in the last 2 minutes. 15 people said, I do not believe that Joe Carcass Biden won that election fair and square. 15 people at least. We got 203 people right now watching, and at least 15 of them folks said no, and others said other variations. So it unfortunately didn't count in our poll because they said nope, nada, nopers. It's a personal favorite, nopers. Nopers. Wow. Wow, wow, wow. So what does that mean? That means that we are being played for a fool. And when you get a president who has come to sweep up and to drain swamps and is now being targeted by those who claim to be on the right, but look more like leftists, i.e. the Taliban Carlsons and the Scamdilla Owens and the Megyn Hellys of the world, which is why I focus so much on them. You know, somebody said yesterday in the comment section, yeah, but I mean, the left is obviously worse, right? And I said, that's why I talk about these fools, because they are going to be the reason why we have a Gavin Newsom in office. I'm telling y'all right now, Gavin Newsom makes it an office not because there's so many of these leftists. It's because there's enough to win when there's a divide within our side. That's all they need. They just need enough of a splinter within MAGA in order to create the effect that they are the popular opinion, that they are the overwhelming majority. They understand how to play optics, just like I showed y'all in this document I received this morning. That's what this is about. And President Trump gave a 25-minute address yesterday, the one that's got them shaking in their boots, expressing exactly that. Now, I still want some of y'all, let me know if you want me to play the whole thing out, but I got to make some time for our man Marco because, you know, the man just continues to impress. He was born for this. He was made for this role and for a time like this. I'm actually glad he didn't become president earlier. Truth be told, God knows his sequencing because, I mean, he knows all things. But Marco, to come in at a time like this, I see you. I see you, big guy.
This is a distinctive and unique evil. It has always been driven by a hatred, above all else, a hatred for civilization itself. It is a revolt of the worst against the best, a revolt of the weak and the cowardly against the strong and the good. It is perpetrated by those who cannot build, who cannot create, who cannot achieve great things, and take their revenge upon the world for their own inadequacy by seeking to destroy those who can. This is what radical leftism is. It may wear various different slogans and ideologies across place and time. They can call themselves anti-capitalists or anti-imperialists or communist or anarchist or Marxist, but the fundamental character is always the same. It's always the same. It is a poisonous resentment cloaked in the language of equality and justice and liberation, an overwhelming need to tear down what greater men have built, to wreck what is beautiful and what is right on behalf of people who are only filled with ugliness and have nothing else to offer the world. Through violence and through terror, they once again seek to impose their ugliness on all of us. The old dogma was wrong. The old dogma was wrong. None of this is driven by idealism. It is not utopian. In fact, it is the opposite. One of the criticisms you sometimes hear of communism, for example, is that it sounds good in theory, but it never works in practice. That's actually not true. Communism does not sound good in theory.
Facts.
The world it envisions for all of us is small, flat, gray, leveled of all exception, drained of all that is good and noble in the human soul. The world it envisions is a world without courage, a world without creativity or ambition, a world without heroes or glory or great causes to strive towards, without a world without...
Somebody said the sound is low. That's my apology. I'm sorry. I hope y'all can hear this. It's on full right now. So yeah, I hope the sound is not too low for y'all. Hope y'all can hear this. I got it all the way maxed out.
Without miracles, without myths, without men who rise above the rest to do incredible and extraordinary things. And the world communism envisions is a world without God. For these architects of revolutionary violence, the towering achievement of our civilization, for them, it's an unbearable humiliation, a reminder of what they cannot do and a reminder of what they cannot be. So they choose instead to destroy. They attack pipelines, they attack railroads, they attack power grids and laboratories, the physical embodied symbols of power and invention and achievement.
So somebody asked about whether or not Marco is an American, well, was born in America. Obviously, he's an American citizen, but was he born in America? He is a real life Miami Cubana. Like, he's a real Cuban from Miami. So just want to answer that before he wraps up.
This is the nature of the terrorism we face today. They despise the West because the West is great.
They despise the West because the West is great. Few times do I not get chills when I'm listening to Marco talk that talk. And the reason why this is so personal for Marco, the reason why you can feel it on him, why it's palpable, is because he understands the alternative better than most. Marco comes from a family that had to flee the very thing he's talking about right now. And for a man who saw what his family experienced, who felt the ramifications of their trauma from coming from such a place, carries that with him everywhere he goes. That's what that's about. Few people understand this thing. That's why, we got the leftist who many of them have been ingratiated in the American story for generations, and so they take it for granted. And there are those who straight up hate America, foreign as well as domestic, right? But Marco is one of the rare breeds, and it's something that hits home for me because I came from a third world country. I came from a socialist dictatorship. We had a president for 36 years who changed our constitution every single year, Robert Mugabe in Zimbabwe. I was born, and by the grace of God, we were saved. We were spared from that. For the folks who haven't seen it, I put out a video. I believe it's titled God Used America, or America Saved My Family from a Third World Hellhole. It's all in the title. It's right there. My family was spared. We were saved. Maybe our lives would not have been necessarily threatened, but our livelihoods would, because they were 80% unemployment because of a corrupt dictatorship. And now that man is out of office, and an even worse evil is in there because the system hasn't changed. The Democratic Party is pushing for that very same system. Thank you very much, sis. She said that was a beautiful video. Thank you very much. I appreciate you taking time to watch that one. So when I hear Rubio, there's something real there for me. This is a guy who understands the existential threat. That's why when he deals with Iran, it's with an iron fist, because he understands that you can't deal with them any other way. The IRGC is not a plaything. They are a jihadist dictatorship. They are a totalitarian dictatorship. They are ruled by a end times dystopia. They believe that it is their job to wipe us all off the planet or have us all submit. Marco understands what it is to deal with evil firsthand. And I'm not saying he's a perfect man, because no man is. God alone. Yeshua is the only one who was ever perfect in his manhood, because he was fully God, fully man. Period. Outside of that, men like Marco are admirable. And the reason I realize that they look to pin them in the way that they do now, many of us, right? They call us war hawks and neocons, and, we're these 7K paid off by Bibi, simply because we're not willing to stand up for the Jew hate, because we're not willing to stand lockstep with Hamas and other terrorists, right? He's in the same camp, not because, he prioritizes Israel over America. No, this is the most pro-America guy I've seen when it comes to actual policy. But he's a war hawk and a neocon because he's not willing to fight the Jews. Instead, he's fighting the actual enemy. That's the problem they really got. And so now you have JD trans, because he transitions into any sort of which figure and character he needs to be in order to get the things that he wants to get. Self-ambition. I know some folks don't like that. Some folks are still on JD. They're on the JD juice. I say, I'll see you in a year. I'll see you in a year and a half. If we're still around, hopefully I'll see you in a year. Okay. Once you see how this thing plays out, not just after the midterms, but after President Trump has finished his, by the grace of God, please, Lord Jesus, protect that man, keep him for the rest of this cycle, because if that's not the case, the country's going up. But let's say President Trump finishes off his term in good health and good spirits, making the right decisions, allowing godly people to lead him, finishes off. And once it's time to make a decision between one or the other, for us, this is our side of the platform. It is never going to be a Gavin. It is never going to be. Some people say, well, if you're putting down JD, then that means you want a liberal in there. You want to. Did I not just spend the last hour and a half cooking these folks? Absolutely not. But the Tuckers, the Megans, they're pushing for the liberal, the leftist to win. That's the danger. That's the psyop, folks. It's not about Tucker's new party, even though, his ego needs to be fed in such a way. Tucker would love to be in a position of power. I mean, he would love to be in a position. I mean, what is a president? I would love to be a president. He would absolutely love it. But what is more important for him and his overlords over there on the other side of the pond, over there in Qatar, over there in Russia, over there in still Maoist CCP China, what Tucker looks to get out of that situation, well, besides, the alignment with his Dugan-esque ideology, what Tucker looks to get out of it is to create the discord and enough of a fracturing within the core of modern day conservatism, what is left of it, which is mostly this evangelical sort of core that has been really leading the charge when it comes to the Republican Party. I'm not saying that multitudes of other people haven't been. MAGA is a movement of the people. And they, try to push this establishment thing now again, because there is a actual agenda to create discord, to create a fracture. And once you have that fracture, the leftists, they're on their way. I mean, if they got Skamala numbers, 66 million, like the last election, they win next time, because now you got Tucker, whoever Tucker's endorsing, running on this third party train. Maybe JD comes out and he goes, I believe that MAGA was a thing of the past and it was necessary for that time being. And the Republican Party is not necessarily, it's not necessarily the movement of today, because today we need something different, something that's, I don't know, a little more socialist, I don't know if y'all saw this Joe Rogan interview. This man sounded like a straight up liberal, like a leftist. He was simping for communists. Meanwhile, we have a real man who is telling y'all of the direct results of that sort of ideological framework. We have got JD transitioning from one political mind frame to another. I just had to hit that one time because I saw that comment come in. My favorite, your Tucker impression. I mean, of course we need a third party. I mean, what country doesn't? You know, our greatest ally, China, Russia, Qatar. But I mean, what is an ally? Yeah, we need a third party. I think it's the only way that we can really take care of America first. I mean, you know, when we have foreign agents that have made their way into the MAGA movement, which it breaks my heart. You know, he has put that, it breaks my heart that I have to say this because, I mean, I voted for him. I mean, I'm a Christian. Why does everything sound like a question with that man? Everything's a question. He's questioning himself at all times. He has got the demon of questioning. That's what he's got. The curious demon, the confused demon. I mean, they're all confused, really, but I mean, what is? It is a psyop, is what it is. It is an intentional fragmentation of what God has put together to hopefully one last stretch for this country to say, look, y'all need to get it together. We all need to get it together. We need to get back in our prayer closets. We need to get back on our knees and humble ourselves in front of a righteous God. We need to get back from being cowards and cowering down to the culture that is pushing this evil and degeneracy. We need to stop giving over to this demonic foolishness. That's us. I'm talking about folks in the church. That's conservatives. I'm talking about us. I understand that it is only one who's going to bring a perfect government, perfect union, a perfect matrimony. The only one who's going to bring a perfect world. Thy kingdom come, and I'm waiting on it like it was yesterday. Waiting on it like the bus I missed. But this very moment in time, we can't just check out. We can't do it. We need to be active. We need to be alert. We need to be aware. And a guy like Marco is right in alignment with that. He understands what the actual imminent threat is. Jihad, i.e. Islam. We're not going to call it Islamism anymore. We're going to call it exactly what it is, Islam. It's that ideology. I got a Quran sitting right there for research purposes only. There is a figment of a foot stepping on that Quran to remind that God has got his foot on top of all falsehood, lies, and demonic ideologies. I need to find another foot that I can put on top of the book by Marx over there, the little Communist Manifesto, that little pamphlet. Unbelievable. So, oh man, we're 50 minutes overhead. You know what? We've got time today. What else are we going to do, right? Go to work, raise them kids. Yeah, you should be raising them kids and going to work, actually. Don't ever let me stop you from doing that. So, okay, this is what we're going to do. Unfortunately, I will not have the time to go through a 23-minute video with President DJT, basically spitting bars, dropping facts, but I will go through a little bit of it. And while I play that out, you guys load up any last questions or comments you want to give. So once we get through a little bit of this video, and I pray to God I have it on my computer right now. Do I? Yes, I do. So once we get through this, or as this is playing out, send your last comments, questions, concerns, whatever it may be, so that when we're done with the video, I can read those out. Sound good? Fantastic. All right. Where shall we go now? Slot 11. Got to add that bad boy in. Booyakasha. Let's get into it.
And doing really well, but we still have a major challenge that must be urgently addressed, because no country could be great without fair and honest elections. You have to trust your country, because if there can be no trust, there can be no greatness. And that's very simple. No trust, no greatness. For many years, I've called for bold, swift, and decisive action to protect the integrity of America's elections. Every American deserves to know that when they cast their vote, that vote will be counted accurately in a system, and that is to make that system secure, one where cheating and interference are not just difficult, but virtually impossible. Unfortunately, the system we have today falls catastrophically short of that standard. Tonight, I'm announcing the immediate declassification and release of critical intelligence revealing shocking vulnerabilities in our election infrastructure. This evidence shows that the election system we have dangerously exposes and really exposes like levels never thought possible to hacking, exploitation, and foreign interference. Just as disturbingly, this vital information has for many years been covered up and hidden from you, the American people, our beautiful, our great American people. But that all changes right now. The documents we will release starting tonight have been gathered by the White House Government Transparency Task Force, a great group of people, along with the staff of the President's Intelligence Advisory Board, supported by our top intelligence agency chiefs, who have all personally reviewed the findings. We are presenting this evening and fully confirmed their authenticity. You can see these documents for yourself at whitehouse.gov. That's whitehouse.gov. Go check it out. Our purpose in disclosing this information is not to weaken confidence in election, but to earn that confidence by confronting vulnerabilities and correcting them very, very quickly. And that's what we're doing. The documents cover 5 major areas of concern. First, they show that over a period of years, starting during the 2020 election cycle, the People's Republic of China carried out what is believed to be the largest compromise of election data in history, resulting in China's illicit acquisition of 220 million U.S. voter files. That information includes names, addresses, phone numbers, political party preferences, and other sensitive data that would be needed to register to vote and engage in other nefarious activities, which is exactly what was happening. This data loss presents an unprecedented election security nightmare. The intelligence even shows that China assigned a data exploitation unit specifically to this new project. Compounding the travesty, the second set of documents we are releasing reveals that members of the deep state, very, very famous group of people, in many cases, in our intelligence agency work to actively suppress and downplay information about the extent of China's sinister election meddling, covering it up from both the president and the American people like nobody thought was possible. U.S. spy agencies began learning about the compromise of voter registration files in 2020 when they discovered that tens of millions of voter data, think of that, tens of millions of voters' data in 18 states have been bought, stolen, or hacked by China.
The fact that this is not the biggest story on the planet Earth right now should be disturbing to everybody here. This is what organizations like Protect Democracy are looking to shut down. They don't want you hearing this. They don't want me hearing this. This is absolute fraud, and it is of global proportions. We have data. We have pinpointed culprits. 18 million people's information has been given over to the CCP. Communist Chinese Party, or the Chinese Communist Party, aligning themselves with the DSA, the Democratic Socialists of America. This is wild. So, we got to wrap up for right now. And It's always so sad to go, but we will be back here same time, same place next week, Monday, bright and early, 8 a.m. PST, and wherever you be, hopefully you see. But before we do that, I want to go through some of these comments. So I got some that are starred here. Shout out to the folks who, send a little something. We appreciate you. I want to dedicate like money that comes through here. I mean, basically everything I spend goes to the stuff that y'all see around me, right? My wife is the ultimate interior designer, incredible, most talented person ever. And everything is thrifter back there. She's a real life thrifter. But, well, except for the library, I think that was like a Facebook marketplace or something like that. But otherwise, everything else, I want to go to creating the best experience within this show. So paying our Avi, our precious producer, Avi, and, I pray that she gets to stay with us. She's so talented, does so much at such a young age. She's really out there fighting the good fight. So, again, I want to be able to basically have somebody who's full-time producing and somebody who can help with some of the other back-end things, maybe one or two people, and we're basically good to go. So, for folks who are showing love and donating, just know that your money is going to a good place. It's not going to Hennessy and Blunts. Maybe when I was 18, but that was a long time ago. The Lord has sanctified and redeemed your boy. So first we have here Cure for the Soul. Shout out to you once again. Keep going, brother. God bless you. God bless you too. I appreciate you. Irinarkar, hopefully I'm saying that correctly. Thank you very much for your donation. I am a Panamanian living in Norway, sick and tired of the same woke nonsense, Pride Month, etc. I feel you. Europe is filled with this degeneracy, etc. I hope for the Republicans to win in the U.S. so they can keep the poison away from your society. By the way, guys, I will be creating a membership because I saw a few of y'all just right now saying you would appreciate a sort of membership situation. Also, I'm going to plan for the logistics of like admins. We can get, I think it's moderators and things of that nature, right? We want to get this show to a place where we can bring on guests and do that sort of thing. Obviously, as we grow, we're going to have more trolls in the comment section. So just to keep things, positive, you can disagree. Yeah, and I want disagreement. I want people to have different opinions, but we don't need people who are, spewing their demon juices all over this. So otherwise, yeah, I'll catch y'all up on everything on that side of things. Thank you to Wrinkle Brain. Oh, welcome back. Tinashe, this is just very, very, very evil, helping the very, very evil get into position. Satan is clever. It's facts. He's cunning and he's witty, unfortunately, but greater is he who is in me than he who is in the world. So who do we have here? Ian, thank you so much, brother Ian. If Dems were sci-fi villains, they would be the Borg, the emperor of the Cyberman. That's wild. If you get the references, that's okay. Shout out to the OGs in the chat. So shout out to you. I'm typing on the phone and watching in real time on TV. Shout out to you. Oh, that's real right there. I appreciate the commitment. This is a spiritual abuse and warfare at its finest. I agree. Tinashe has time today. I got time today indeed. I got all the time. Period. What we got here? Bless that individual in Norway. We are praying for world peace. I'm actually going to have a parliament member from Norway on my show maybe next week. He's somebody that I had the opportunity of being introduced to, and that's going to be a beautiful thing. So make sure to stay tuned for next week's shows. We'll decide on a day. I'm going to have him at some point. Pastor Dumisani, Josh Carr is going to make his appearance. We're going to have Avi back so she can, pop in and out, and we'll see where it goes. I'm gonna say double time March. Let's get it. Somebody also said something about merch, so I'm gonna make sure that we get that going as well. So I've got time today merch for you guys. The trans obsession is just a symptom. I mean, it's true. There are darker, much more nefarious things. Sorry, let me get that off the screen. There are much darker, more nefarious things, but it manifests itself in an evil like this that is really making victims of the children that are confused and being thrown into greater confusion, and now they're mutilated, physically castrated. It's a disgusting thing. Tinashe is thank you so much. I appreciate you. Miss Me Cat, thank you very much. Shout out to Faith. That's her book is right here. Girl Soldier. She's a real girl soldier. This lady right here. They call her the connective tissue of the body of Christ because she knows everybody and she connects everybody. So shout out to you, Faith, over there in the East Coast. You are exactly right, Tinashe, and about the funding for this coming from Soros and the other dark money. And they don't just use it on their left, they use it on evangelicals 100%. We're the like we are the last standing enemy now. It's really just that, right? That's why they call us neocons and war hawks when we're saying, hey, let's maybe actually help our brothers and sisters in Iran. Good morning, Tinashe. Good morning to all. Juju B, I found here was that we'd like to share the conservative values. Have a blessed day. Absolutely. That's what we're about over here. And even if you don't share in those values, come and bring your opinion. That's okay. Oh, shout out to you. Thank you so much for your donation, Mamski. What is that? Is that Tertia Smith? You got a name on you. That's a name right there. Hard times create strong men. You understand that, Tinashe. That is you. Thank you so much. I appreciate that. Much, much love and appreciation to you, T. T and T. Facts. You got thank you for that tip. Yep. Thank you so much, guys. You guys are wonderful. I have strong admin background. Even if you have special prayer requests, I'm here. Okay. I'm gonna save you. I know you got that admin background because you got a clip. You got a clip as your picture. I know you got that admin in you. Shelvia. Shout out to you, Shelvia. Reach out to me. Let's get, you know what? I'm going to put my email in here. Hopefully I didn't spell my own email correctly. TinashePeter.com. I am currently looking for somebody as an assistant for overall situation. So, my back-end business, Tinashe Peter LLC, etc. But, we can talk if somebody is really, really interested in that. And then what do you have here? Look at you today. Have many fans all over the world today. It ain't fans. It's family. It's people that I resonate with. It's people after the truth. We don't worship folks out here. We don't worship people, but we can admire. But thank you very much for the kindness. God is using for a reason, and I keep sharing your videos all over Telegram. Thank you. I'm not on Telegram, so thank you for spreading the word on platforms that I don't even know about. Somebody said, thank y'all. I love when y'all just show love to one another. It's a beautiful thing. And, it edifies the entire situation. Thank you to you. Who is that? Is that Colleen? Colleen? Like lean with it, right? Lean with it. Okay, Colleen, thank you very much for your support, your generous donation. If anybody else for the last 2 minutes, and then let me see. Because this is I got time today, but I got to hop on a call in literally exactly 2 minutes. So I got 2 minutes for anybody else who wants to say anything else. Let's see. Thank you to you and have a great and blessed day yourself. God bless you and yours. Tinashe, why won't you make What Is This shorts to mock the stupidity of the left? Why don't you make? Look, so I have plenty of them from back in the day, but I will be back on my short grind very, very soon. I've been focusing on the show, launching this, and we're also launching many other shows with different creatives. I will be sharing that with y'all exclusively. And then eventually, folks abroad, there's some exciting things. God is working, God is moving. So I will keep y'all up to date and up to speed. For any creative purposes, websites, logos, I want to bless you that. Oh, come on now. Come on. Okay. Thank you, ma'am. Please hit up that Tinashe at TinashePeter.com. Let's talk. Thank you. Shout out to, gifted folk out here. Pray for my family. We've been doxxed by the public library for exposing LGBT grooming. That is straight out the pit of hell. That is evil. We will. Please, folks, pray for Maya Goodson and her family. I see a baby in that picture. We don't want that for anybody, let alone, those who got kids, and these kids don't choose to be a part of any of this nonsense. So we pray for the family right there. Thank you, Tinashe, and everybody here. Blessings to you all. So, folks, it is about that time. At some point, we're going to make a sort of getting out of here music, maybe a little Barney type theme song. But for the time being, thank you for everybody that tuned in. Till the next time. Love y'all. Appreciate y'all. Peace. Appreciate you guys for tuning in. Now, if you like what you see, go ahead and click that little subscribe button wherever it is currently located. And if you love what you see,
don't be shy and go ahead and give a little something over there at the Buy Me a Coffee link in the description below. Till the next time,